Bonjour to welcome back to our channel. Today we are taking you to Opéra Comique. So, on y va.
Today, l'Opéra Comique is housed in the building that dates back to the late 19th century. The restoration works have been recently carried out, and visitors can marvel at the architectural grandeur, in particular the superb Salle Favart, named after the Charles-Simon Favart, that can host up to 1,100 spectators.
The history of one of France's oldest institutions begins at the end of the 17th century in Parisian fairs, where the troupes performed opera parodies. These new kind of shows attracted a wide audience, from the common citizen to the Sun King himself, who was a great lover of music and art. It was only a matter of time before Comédie Française found this new type of performance competitive. However, that didn't stop Opéra Comique from obtaining its own theater around 1783. What made Opéra Comique different is the fact that the performances played in the theater had to include spoken dialogues in sung pieces.
The building was built on the land owned by the Duc de Choiseul, and the opening event had the privilege of the Queen Marie Antoinette in attendance.
The 11th century didn't go as smoothly for the theater as one would imagine. Aside from financial struggles, the two major fires of 1838 and 1887 ravaged the building, with the second fire being particularly tragic as it claimed more than 100 lives. The building had to be rebuilt by 1898 and was the first fully electrified theater in France.
Today, l'Opéra Comique is often called Le Petit Garnier, a reference to the bigger Opéra Palais Garnier that's just a few blocks away. The architect, Louis Bernier, was inspired by the contemporary construction of the Palais Garnier and its eclectic architecture. If you haven't seen Palais Garnier, check it out with us via the link in the comments below.
When you visit this building, they take you through the main parts, like the foyer, avant foyer, and then also the main spectacle hall and salle de spectacle. And it's a nice visit. It's 1.5 hours long. You can only book it once a month. So book it at once. We'll leave a link below. I personally really enjoyed it, and especially what I noticed is that when you are in the hall of the actual performances, the performance hall, there is a lot of red, but it's not as deep red as in Opéra Garnier. And I love how the top levels, as you go up, they become more and more coral in color. It's so beautiful. The ceiling is absolutely gorgeous because of the mosaics, the actual mosaics all over the ceiling. And the lustre was, the chandelier was recently placed in there because apparently what happened was the previous lustre or chandelier was there, but then to accommodate the people with reduced mobility, they had to remove some of the seats, and that disturbed, along with other works, restoration works and stuff, it disturbed the sound quality of the actual hall. So they had to put another lustre, another chandelier that would fix that would fix the flow of the sound. Personally, I don't like the chandelier that's currently there, but one woman mentioned that it looks a little bit like Art Deco. I agree, kind of looks like Art Deco. Doesn't really bother you, but it's really light. The dog is so cute behind me. I love it. It's just cute. There have been so many fires that when they constructed this one, the marble that they used for the stairs actually differs one after the other. So even if the lights are off, for example, you can actually see the steps that you're going on, that you're stepping on. And now there is a big dog. It's really cute.
Even though we are right in the center of Paris, Opéra Comique is very hidden. And back in the day, they tried to make the entrance facing boulevard. The reason why it didn't happen is because they had so many businesses and they couldn't kick the businesses out, so they couldn't change the direction of the entrance. We spent a few minutes to find this place because it's literally so hidden, even though it's just central Paris.
There was this one lady with us who apparently we found out later on she couldn't help it. She kept on asking the guide, about the ticket, the sound, and the actual business model, and not business model, but she was basically asking business related questions rather than the normal visiting questions. And we found out later on, well, she said it herself, that she worked for a company that sells tickets. And apparently she says that even for the good price, you can get a better seating in terms of the sound and the quality of what you can see in Opéra Bastille, the ugly building at the Bastille. Plus, it's very old, very new, sorry, and it's really it's got no character. But apparently over there inside, you can get much better value for the price of the seats than here. I don't know, to me, this building is much more interesting, but then again you have to remember that when this was built it was 19th century and it was about seeing people rather than seeing the actual piece of spectacle. So you actually come there to show yourself off, similar to how Opéra Garnier was built, with the same similar idea. Also apparently during the Third Republic of France, the presidents of that republic didn't want to come to Opéra Garnier because it was too much associated with Napoleon III, so they chose to come here instead. While Sinan is having his hot chocolate, I'm having coffee. Listen guys, we're not advertising, but we recommend this Linas if you don't want to if you don't have time to look for some local, or if you feel a bit intimidated to go into a local cafe. Not that we feel intimidated, it's just this area is really hard to find a local cafe. It's mainly targeted at tourists. There's a lot of restaurants that are just chains, and we're at Grand Boulevard. Over here it's pretty much shops, and so if you're in an area like this, Linas is a million times better than Starbucks. I don't like Starbucks at all. I used to be a Starbucks person, but then I changed completely.
I like their hot chocolate. When it's sunny in Paris, you can just take your time and enjoy the sun.
It's summer now, so the city is alive. Paris is always beautiful in summer. It's beautiful, sunny, gorgeous. So yeah, come to Paris. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. If you like this kind of content, and if you like this video, you will like this one. And until the next time, au revoir.